DDSN works with providers across South Carolina to ensure that individuals with disabilities are able to find work. We spoke with Joshua Bradham, who is employed and has autism. His mother, Sarah, joined the conversation to discuss the positive impact that employment has had on both Joshua and their family.
Joshua's job is at a manufacturing firm called Screen Type that's here in the Georgetown area. And he has done various things. He started by helping them to assemble bags of hardware that were necessary for them to hang the screen doors and windows. I think at this point, Joshua, you usually have another job.
I have another job when I had to be done in time. When I was done finishing putting pieces together and taking pieces apart, putting them in boxes and putting pieces in bags from other boxes and with the papers and stapling things with the staples to be done in time, and then put stickers and labels on boxes to be done in time and do other things and us together at home. That's wait to finish this job. That's wait.
Sarah discussed why the job is a great fit for Joshua.
I think that one of the things that probably is very satisfying and settling for Joshua is that this is a job that involves a lot of repetition. He knows exactly what is expected of him. He knows exactly how to do it. It might seem monotonous to someone else, but for Joshua, there's a security in things that stay the same. And so if you're putting labels on boxes, if you're stapling bags of hardware, if it's something that is consistent, then that is a very, very good thing.
Joshua shared how his co-workers treat him.
They are very kind and very nice, and myself and them together. That's right.
Joshua started his employment journey with Growth Enterprises, part of the Georgetown County Disabilities and Special Needs Board. Sarah explained how the organization helped Joshua secure his current job.
So when Joshua went to Growth Enterprises and there would be contract work available, there would be a check that would be issued. And so every week he would get a paycheck, or every 2 weeks he would get a paycheck, and he would actually be able to go to the bank and cash it. And so that began building that sense of, hey, this is what Dad does. This is, a grown-up thing to do. Mr. Jeff Ward was one of the workers at that time who was a job specialist and recognized that Joshua was capable of doing the contract work on site at the actual manufacturing plant. And so after Joshua began to work there, then Mr. Jeff would come and he would be the one to check in with the supervisors to see that Joshua was working diligently and effectively, and also just to see if Joshua had questions or concerns about the things that were going on there.
Sarah expressed her initial fears about Joshua finding employment.
I think moms always have fears. So I did not specifically have fears related to Screen Tight. My concerns as a mom of someone with unique gifts was that I wasn't going to be there to make sure every second of every day that Joshua was cared for, that people were being kind to him. I think the lack of knowledge of what was happening was frightening to me, because whether we like to admit it or not, as parents of children and adults with unique gifts, we take a lot of control. We find safety and security in being able to control their environment, being able to control their surroundings, being able to keep them as much in our little rose-colored bubble. And sometimes the things that we do are not kind, in the sense that the true definition of kind is useful. And so out of a heart of mercy and desiring to protect, I often limited the things that were more useful. And it was useful for Joshua to be in the real world. It was useful for him to know that sometimes people were going to say no. It
No.
was useful for him
It's not what I
to
mean.
understand that
I don't understand.
things don't always get smoothed over and made easy. Yeah, that was a hard thing to let go of.
Sarah discussed the positive changes she's seen in Joshua since he started working and how they are preparing him for the future.
I think that there is a greater degree of confidence. I think that there is a healthy kind of pride when he knows. Now, I will tell you that he doesn't much like this direct deposit idea because it was really fun to get a paycheck in your hand that you were earning and to say, this is what I did. But still, Joshua knows that
Joshua does.
he can at any point ask and be told how much money's in the bank and how much got there because he worked hard.
That's
Because he
right.
got up in the morning, because he went to
I
work.
go waking up by myself.
All
I'm
of
good.
that
I'm all right.
waking up by himself, beginning to have more of a sense of responsibility of this is what the rest of the world does. I think all of those things are important, and as much as I don't like it, there's going to be a day that mom's not able to make everything safe. And as our younger son so wisely tells us, it's important to know how to live in the real world, and not everybody is going to try to make it easy.
Sarah noted the benefits she has experienced as a result of Joshua's employment.
I'd like to believe that I don't hold quite as fiercely. I like to believe that the bubble has grown a little bit larger. I like to believe that I have the ability to understand that even if somebody does get mad or somebody is impatient, guess what? They're that way with neurotypical people. And so even if someone did say something that was impatient to Joshua, that kind of just means they're treating Joshua in a
Joshua
realistic manner.
Sarah offered advice for parents who may be considering job opportunities for their child with special needs.
Do this the right way and don't be so overwhelmed by what you're seeing in the present that you forget there's a future. And it's so easy to want things to be safe right now that we, something called the tyranny of the urgent. You know, there are things that are urgent. Right now we need to protect. Right now we need to make safe. But the things that are really important have to do with not just right now. It's important for me, it's kind for me to know that Joshua is likely going to be living longer than mom and dad on his own or in a very different situation. And so the things that I can do now to help him to become a person who's going to be confident in his independence and in his responsibility of things, those will be of great benefit. And sometimes that means that I have to be willing to let go
I know.
a little bit more than feels comfortable, a little bit more than feels safe. But in order to help Joshua
does.
to be able
That's right.
to have the fullness of what's meant for him in the
That's
future.
right.
Additionally, Sarah had a message for employers contemplating hiring individuals with disabilities and special needs.
It would be wonderful if employers in general would take that little risk for what is a much greater reward. If they would be willing to give our men and women the opportunity to show what they can do, to hold the crown above their head and help them to grow into it. it just would be such a blessing to their business, not just because they become known as being culturally appropriate and friendly to the neurodivergent community, but because of the growth and the change that it would make in their own character. We have been told that they wish they had a whole crew of Joshuas, because when there's a job that's given, it gets done, and they know that Joshua's going to do it. And so if they could hire a lot more Joshuas, then that would be a good thing.
That's right. Good thing. That's right.